What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Silly Strategics. On today's episode, we're going to be having a discussion about a question that I was asked the other day. Somebody asked me, what do I think the most important thing Americans today should understand? That is today's episode. Let's talk about this. The question was asked to me, Samson Silly, you have a little bit of experience, you know what I'm saying? What do you think is the most important thing that Americans today need to understand? What I think the most important thing is that Americans need to understand is that you are your own first responder. Say it again. You are your own first responder. I think that's the most important thing that most Americans need to really understand. Not just hear it and just be like, yeah. People really need to understand this. Really need to soak it in. You are your own first responder.
What do you mean by that, Samson Silly?
Let's break it down for a little bit. Some people might answer that question and say the most important thing that most Americans need to know is they need to have education. Some people are going to say you need to have education. That's the most important thing you need to understand. Some people are going to say you need money, you need financial freedom. That's the most important thing that you need to understand, is that you need financial freedom. You need to make money. Other people are going to say you need to have a good job. You need to understand that you need to have a good job, a good career, in order to be, complete in America. That's the most important thing. So some people are going to say education, money, job, career, or happiness. Some people are going to say, you need happiness. You really need to understand the most important thing you need to understand is happiness. Some people are going to say that, or some are going to say religion, getting to know God, religion, some people are going to say politics. People are going to say a whole bunch of stuff, which is true. You need to understand those things. You need to understand, the economy. You need to understand finances. You need to understand education. You need to understand careers. And yes, you need all that stuff. But ask yourself this question. What does having $1 billion in your bank account do for you if you're dead? If you're no longer amongst us in the living, what does your education, what does it do for you if you're no longer around? What does having the most money in the world do if you're dead, if you're no longer around? What is having, all this understanding of politics and economy and education? What is having a good career? What does all that matter if you're dead? It doesn't matter how good your life is. It doesn't matter how much money you have, how much training, how much education, how much knowledge, how much anything. None of that matters if you're dead. If you're no longer amongst the living, what does it matter how much money you had or how much money you made? If you're no longer amongst the living, what does it matter how much education you had? If you're no longer amongst the living, what does it matter how great of a career you have? When you stop and break that down and you understand that the most important thing that you need to understand is you are your own first responder. Like, a lot of people live in this fantasy world, in this la-la land. A lot of Americans live in this la-la land, and they believe that, we don't need guns. The police is going to save us. We don't need guns. The police, we got the police. That's why we got the police. So you don't need a gun. Some Americans are going to try to convince you don't need a firearm to protect yourself. Why? Because we got law enforcement. We got the police. Okay, yes, I understand that we have the police to help. But ask yourself this question. If it's 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, you're dead asleep. You're home, whether with your spouse, your kids, or whether you live alone. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, someone kicks in your front door and they start waving a gun in your face. Where's the police at that very second? At that very second, when your life is in imminent and immediate danger, where is the police? Do you have a police officer posted up in your living room, chilling, eating sandwiches? Because if you have a police officer posted up in your living room, then I guess you're good, because he's going to take care of that threat for you. But what about everybody else who can't afford to have security or a police officer sitting in their living room? You know what I'm saying? What are you going to do? What are you going to do in that very moment? In that very instant? So you hear kick, bash, breaks, somebody break into your home. You go to investigate and this person is pointing a gun in your face. Ask yourself, where is the police? Where is law enforcement at that very second when that gun is in your face? Your life is in imminent and immediate danger. Where's the police? And I'm not bashing the police. I'm not talking down on the police at all. I'm not saying, oh, there's a police fault. What I'm trying to get people to understand is you can't depend on the police when your life is in danger in that second, in that moment that your life is in imminent danger. If your life is in immediate danger, you can't rely on the police because the police is out doing their jobs. They're out patrolling, they're out protecting, they're out doing whatever they got to do. They're not in your home, and that very moment a bad guy breaks in your home and stick a gun in your face. That's why I'm saying the most important thing that Americans need to understand is that you are your own first responder. You can't sit here and think that, oh, we don't need guns. You don't need guns to protect yourself. You don't need a gun. You don't need a firearm with 10 plus rounds. You don't need an AR-15. You don't need this. You don't need that to protect yourself. That's what law enforcement is for. That's what they like to tell you. It sounds cool. It sounds safe. Oh, we don't need guns. That's what the police is going to be there. But in reality, it's probably going to take the police about anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the night, depending on your location, depending on where you live. Unless you're lucky and have a police around the corner by your house, they might be there in a couple minutes. But still, in that split second, when the bad guy is broke into your home and is waving a gun in your face, even if the police is down the block, what good is that going to do you in that split second? What if the bad guy just don't have no regards for life, don't have no regards for his own life, and he just said, you know what, screw this, boom, take you out in that split second? The police is going to show up real quick, but it's already going to be too late. Every American needs to get this in their skull. The police is not going to be there when you really need them. They're going to show up after the fact. The police show up after the fact. There's a rare cases that the police just happen to show up right when something happens. And like I said, there's no fault to the police, any police departments. I'm not bashing any police or any police officer. I'm just being 100% honest. They're not going to be there in that split second when you need them. They usually show up after the fact. You know what I'm saying? This is why I feel that we need to really stop. Americans, we really need to stop and understand this concept. This is why we need firearms. This is why law-abiding citizens need firearms. Now, if you want to disarm the bad guys, take the bad guys' guns, I'm all for it. But when it comes to law-abiding citizens, if the bad guys have guns, I want guns. If the bad guys have 9mm, have pistols with 30-round drums, 60-round drums, I want to be able to have pistols with 30 and 60-round drums if I want to. If a bad guy have an AR-15, I want to have an AR-15. If the bad guy have a shotgun, I want to have a shotgun too to defend myself. I want to level the playing field. I don't want it to be even or uneven. I don't want the bad guy to have the advantage over me. The bad guy has a gun, I don't have a gun. And that's the agenda the most politicians are pushing. They want to disarm you because they want you to be victims. They want you to be relying on government. And the Second Amendment was written so the people can protect themselves and don't have to rely on the government. You are your own first responder, because at 2 o'clock in the morning, even if you're military trained, you're law enforcement, it doesn't matter. You might have your battle buddies that have your backs on deployment, that always had your backs. You might be a part of a team, you might be a part of a SWAT team, a squad, whatever you do. You might have a team to protect you at your job, but where's your team going to be at 2 o'clock in the morning when you're asleep? Your team ain't going to have your back. The only person that's going to have your back is your spouse or your kids. You know what I'm saying? Tell your spouse, hey, throw me a magazine, throw your spouse a gun so she can back you up in case. You know what I'm saying? But we have to get out of this notion that, oh, everything's going to be fine. We don't need guns. We got the police. We need to erase that out of our psyche. Because yes, we got the police, and yes, the police do great jobs trying to protect as much as they can, but the police can't be everywhere at all times. And like I said, when something happens and your life is in immediate danger in that split second, there's usually no police around. They're usually out. They're usually 7-10 minutes away. And let's say that you're lucky enough, right? Let's say that you're lucky enough. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, boom, crash, somebody breaks in your home, start waving a gun. And let's say you're able to call the police department. They're not going to show up until anywhere from 7 to 10 minutes. Let's say the police department was right across the street. Let's say you lived right across the street from the police department, right? One, are you going to be able to get, if somebody kick into your house, you're going to go investigate. You know, most people probably grab their cell phones just in case or whatever. But me, I'm grabbing my gun. To hell with the cell phone. I'm grabbing my gun. First thing I hear, a loud noise, bang, crash, glass broken. I'm grabbing a firearm. I'm gonna investigate. I need my 2 hands because I'm most likely gonna grab my rifle. 2 o'clock in the morning, I ain't wearing no pants. I'm gonna be in my underwear. You know what I'm saying? With my rifle, going through clearing my house, trying to figure out, investigate what that noise is. I don't care about no cell phone. My wife can grab the cell phone. Let's say you don't believe in firearms, you grab your cell phone. What if this person have a gun that's pointing a gun at you, wave this gun at you in your face, telling you don't move, get down to the ground? What are you gonna do? You most likely might not have time to call 911. And let's say you do have time to call 911, and let's say the police department is right across the street from your house. How long do you think, honestly, it's going to take for an officer to get to your house, even if the police department was across the street to your house? Because most likely, if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, it's some dispatch, some civilian dispatcher. You know, it might have a supervisor, LT, who might be asleep, who might be, you know what I'm saying, doing whatever he's doing. I don't know. It might be a sergeant, shift sergeant. He might be out on patrol helping, backing up his officers. You know what I'm saying? So how fast, even if the police department was across your street and you were able to call them, how fast do you think they're going to get there in that split second when you're in imminent danger, imminent and immediate danger in that split second? Even if it takes them 2 minutes to get across the street, if anybody who's ever been in any type of situation, if you've ever been in a gunfight, if you've ever been in any type of situation where somebody has a gun at you, somebody's shooting at you, somebody's trying to take your life, 5 minutes seems like 5 hours. 5 minutes seems like 5 hours. 2 minutes seems like 2 hours. Time slows down dramatically when you're in a stressful situation, and especially if your life is on the line, if your life is in danger. Time slow down, and even if the cops get there in 2 minutes, it's going to seem like an eternity. You cannot have this mentality that we don't need guns because we have police, we have government. No, you need guns. You need guns. The reason why? Because you are your own first responder. You can't bring a cell phone to a gunfight. You can't bring a baseball bat to a gunfight. You can't bring the fireplace poker stick to a gunfight. I see this all the time in movies. Every time I watch a movie with my wife, and the first thing you see people they grab the fire, you know what I'm saying, the fireplace poking stick or a baseball bat or a knife, while the person in their home or whatever has a gun. You know what I'm saying? In the movies, it works out for all the actors and actresses. It always works out for the star in the movies. You know, a guy with a gun, they'll come down with a baseball bat and take him out. Hey, that's Hollywood. But in real life, do you really want to take a baseball bat to a gunfight because you believe nobody should have guns except for police and government? If your life is on the line and this guy have a gun and all you have is a kitchen knife, are you really going to say, you know what? He has a gun, but it's fine. I don't believe in guns. I got a kitchen knife, I'm good. Honestly, are you really gonna think that? Oh, he has a gun, I got a kitchen knife, I'm good. The playing field is even. It's not. He has the advantage because if you try to rush him with your knife, he's just gonna raise his gun and pop you. Boom, you're done. Same thing with a baseball bat. Same thing with a machete. Same thing with a sword. Same thing with a fireplace poker. We Americans need to get this notion out of our head that, oh, we don't need firearms. Law-abiding citizens don't need firearms. We got the police. The police is going to be there to protect us. I'm telling you, when you're in that life or death situation, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, and you're there by yourself, all you have is just whatever you have. Your life is in immediate danger, imminent danger. Where is the police at that split second? When your life is in danger, you are your own first responder. You cannot rely on another man or woman in law enforcement to protect you. You cannot rely on a man or woman in a police department to be there in that split second when you need them the most to protect you. They're not going to be there. And like I said, I'm not bashing any police department at all. I'm not talking smack about law enforcement. I'm really not. I'm just telling you what it is. The police are out doing their jobs. They're out patrolling. They're out trying to keep the streets safe. They're out trying to keep the neighborhood safe. But they're not going to be planted in your living room when you need them. So understand that the most important thing that Americans need to understand today is that you are your own first responder. Once we understand this, once reality actually set in our brains about this, maybe all the anti-gun people might just take a back seat and just, yeah, you know what, he might be right. Some people just don't believe in guns regardless. Some people just do not believe in guns. They don't care what you got to say, and that's cool. If you don't believe in guns, don't believe in guns. Nobody's trying to force guns on you. Nobody's trying to tell you you have to have guns. If you truly don't believe in firearms, then you don't have to have one. But what you're not going to do, you're not going to try to restrict me and tell me or anybody else who believe in firearms for protection. You do not have the right to tell me because you don't like firearms. We shouldn't have firearms. That's what you're not going to do. You're not going to tell me because you don't like firearms, I shouldn't have them. Because I am not a criminal. I am not breaking laws. I am doing what I gotta do to protect this country. I am doing what I gotta do to protect my family. I am doing what I gotta do to protect my neighborhood, my city, my state, whatever it is. I'm here to do what I gotta do to protect. So if you don't believe in guns, cool, you don't have to believe in guns. But don't try to stop me from having my rights to carry firearms to protect myself, to protect my family, to protect my property, to protect my country. In case of a foreign invasion, a tyrannical foreign government try to take over, I want to be able to have my own reliable firearms that I don't have to be like the people in Ukraine and have to go to the government and tell them to give me some guns so I can help defend my country. I want to be able to just go to my safe and pull out whatever I need to help protect this country. So if you don't believe in guns, cool. Don't believe in guns. I'm not saying don't believe in guns, cool. Don't believe in guns. But stop trying to restrict my rights. Stop trying to take my guns away. My guns are here. They're not bothering anybody. My guns is in my home, locked up in my safe, not bothering nobody. So why do you care about my guns? If you don't like guns, cool. But why do you care about mine? I'm not out in the streets selling drugs. I'm not out in the streets killing people. I'm not out in the streets doing anything I'm not supposed to. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I just have my guns as my tools for protection if and when I ever need them. So don't be afraid of my guns. My guns ain't doing nothing to nobody. You see where they are? They're right here with me, safe and sound. You know? So if you're scared about guns, the guns that you need to be worried about is the guns in the hands of the criminals. Don't worry about the guns in law-abiding citizens' hands. We're law-abiding citizens. We lawfully own firearms. We lawfully carry and own firearms because we're law-abiding citizens, just like the police officers, just like military personnel. We're law-abiding citizens. So why are you worried about the law-abiding citizens' guns? We're not doing anything. Our guns are in our homes. It's nice and safe and sound. What you need to worry about is the cartel's guns. You need to worry about the dope boys' guns. The ones in the neighborhood selling drugs, shooting each other. That's where the gun problem is. That's where the gun issue is in those inner cities that have a whole bunch of poverty issues going on. That they feel that they need to sell drugs and shoot people. That's where the problem is. The problem isn't the gun manufacturers. The problem isn't the law-abiding citizens. The problem isn't even the guns. Because I'll tell you what, even if you were to make all the guns in the world disappear, I always say this, even if you were to make every single gun disappear at the snap of a finger, poof, all the guns are gone. The criminals are going to find something else to use. If you look at those countries that ban guns and people don't have guns, people are still getting killed. There's still mass killings with knives. People are getting stabbed up. Mass stabbings. There's still people running around with machetes and swords, killing people, mass swordings and mass macheteings. There's still people killing people with cars. There's still people killing people with hammers. You know what I'm saying? There's still, so criminals are still going to do criminalistic shit. It doesn't matter if there's guns in the world or not. Criminals are still going to do criminalistic stuff. So why are we always focusing on the guns? Oh, we have a gun problem. Yes, firearms is the most popular way to, people use. It's popular. Firearms are popular. So that's why people use firearms, because they're popular. You know what I'm saying? But understand that with or without guns, criminals are still going to be doing criminal stuff. With or without guns, people are still going to be selling drugs. With or without guns, people in the inner cities are still going to be killing each other. With or without guns, bad shit is still going to happen regardless. Get this notion out of your head that, oh, we need to ban guns. If you don't like guns, go ahead and don't like guns. If you don't believe in guns, go ahead and don't believe in guns. But stop trying to take minds away. Stop trying to take the two-way. Anybody who supports the two-way, stop trying to take law-abiding citizens' guns away. Stop trying to take our guns away. Stop it. Stop it. It's part of the amendment. It's the Second Amendment. Shall not be infringed. The right of the people to carry and bear arms. That's our right. So stop trying to restrict, stop trying to take. And they always like to say, oh, we're not trying to take their guns. We're not trying to take their guns. They always say that we're trying to take their guns. We're not trying to take your guns. We're just trying to make smart gun control. What is smart gun control? No gun control is smart, because if it was smart, then there wouldn't be mass shootings. There wouldn't be all this crime happening with guns if there was smart gun control. Gun control doesn't stop anything. It just restricts law-abiding citizens, because criminals don't follow gun control laws. Criminals love gun control. Criminals are the biggest advocate for gun control. So if you support gun control, understand criminals support gun control. You know why? Because if you restrict law-abiding citizens to not have guns, the criminals are still going to have their guns. So they love gun control, because this is gonna make their job as criminals easier. Because I know, hey, he don't have a gun. Let's go rob him right now in the middle of the day. I know he doesn't have a gun. So criminals love gun control. So if you support gun control, you support criminals. That's what it is. It sounds crazy, but that's what it is. If you support gun control, you support criminals, because criminals love and support gun control. You know why? Because they don't give a shit about it. They know it restricts and it affects only law-abiding citizens. So I need you to stop and think about that. If you're in the middle, and you're not sure if you're pro-gun, anti-gun, if you're stuck in the middle, I need you to understand that. This is the things that those politicians are not telling you. They like to tell you all these crazy statistics, but there's loopholes and stuff in their statistics that they give you. They like to use, gun violence is this and this and this, but they're also including suicide and inner city street gang wars and stuff like that. They're including that in the gun violence. But if you were to take suicide and the inner city street gangs shootings, we don't have a gun problem. We have a social economic problem. In the inner cities, that's where the problem is. We have a drug problem. That's why there's gun violence, because of drugs. We have a drug problem. We do not have a firearms problem. We do not have a gun problem. We have a social economic and we have drug problems. That's where the problem lies. So I don't understand why politicians don't focus on the real issues, the real problems. Inner city gun wars. What creates that? Social economics. What's going on in inner cities where these gun violence is so high? What's going on there? Why don't they try to fix that? Why don't they try to really get to the root of the problem? Why don't they really try to focus on the drug problem that we have? There's been a war on drugs since what, the 70s and 60s probably? There's been a war on drugs, but there's still drugs. So as long as there's still drugs, there's still guns. As long as there's still drugs and guns, there's gonna be gun violence. It's not rocket science. Law-abiding citizens are not the one out there shooting up neighborhoods and shooting up blocks. It's the gangsters, it's the drug dealers. So why are we always focusing on the law-abiding citizens' rights to carry and bear arms? We need to stop it, America. We need to stop it. Guns are not the problem. So that's all I'm gonna say. But anyways, man, it's your boy Stash Sergeant Sealy. See you guys in the next video. Make sure you guys like, make sure you guys subscribe, make sure you guys share, make sure you turn on the notification bell so you get notified every time we drop another bang banging video. But anyways, man, be greater than you were yesterday. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. We live to train because we train to live. Stash Sergeant Sealy's out.